Okay, so we will continue where we have left yesterday. Okay, so let's start with creating with some array, numpy array. Okay, so basically I'm importing my numpy as np. Okay, and basically these two codes are for avoiding warning in our Jupyter notebook. Few time you will see a warning message coming up after running few of the code, right? To suppress that, we write this command: import warning, warning dot filter warning ignore. Okay, so as I
Chandan, can you see the screen?
Yeah, no, I am not able to see.
Naresh, we
mm,
can't see the screen.
That's
now you are able to see the screen, right?
uh,
Yep, but there is one blank page hiding. Okay, yep.
yeah,
Now it's yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about like first we need to import our library, right? So we will be importing numpy as np. Okay, and to suppress any kind of warning in our notebook, right? For example, like sometime if we run any of the cell, we might receive some kind of warnings. To suppress those kind of warning, we write this. We import the package and then warning dot filter warning ignore. Okay, and this command is for importing image. Okay, so let us create few arrays. So as I was discussing yesterday, right, we can create an array from list as well, right? So I'm passing a list of 10, 20, 30, 40 and 60 in my list one, and if I see this type, it would be list. And to convert it into a numpy array, we have to just pass np.array and the list name, right? It would get converted to my numpy array, right? And if I see the data, I can see where it has been stored. Okay, the memory address of my array. And then if I see the type, it would be giving me numpy nd array, right? D type would be telling me whether it is integer 32 or any other byte. Okay, and if you want to convert my array, right, into any other form, I can use as type. So we use as type to convert from one form to the other form of data type. Okay, so now I want to convert it into float, so I can write as type float, right? So it would get converted into float. So point means now it got converted into float. Okay, the second form of generating was arrange, right, where we were passing np.arrange and then the number, right? So we can also give a sequence while creating the number, whether we want from 0 to that upper threshold number, or from one index we want, or from two index we want. We can pass that way also, right? So what it will do right now, it will create my numpy array from 0 to 10. Okay, so if I run this, I will get a numpy array of single dimensional from 0 to 9. Okay, I can also give a space, like after how many space the number should be get generated. So from 0 to 100 all my number would be there, and it would be at a space of 10. So from each number that got generated, it would give a space of 10. Okay, so that also we can do it. So you can see like after every number, each number there is a space of 10, right? We can also do it into a reverse order, so that is the descending order. We can create it like that way also. So it will start from 100, it will go till 20. Okay, so this will tell me the shape. So if I run only this, it will give me from 0 to 9, and I will have 10 observation in that, right, with single column. And I can see the size, see the dimension, I can see the data type, right? I can see the item size, each byte, how much it is storing, length 0. Yeah, so I did not talk about zeros and ones, right? So basically there are these two form as well. So where we want to create any kind of empty array, right? So this is the function that will help us to create that array. So basically if we want to just create a dummy array where we want to store the future values, okay, we are not started receiving the value yet, okay, and in future we would be receiving those observation, right? So just to have a dummy array in the beginning, just to have an architecture of that array, we can create those dummy or those blank array through with the help of this, okay, np.0 10 or 100, whatever it is. So it will create me that array, okay. Similar is with ones, okay, so it would create me 1111 dummy array, okay. There is something called repeat as well. So if we want to repeat any observation, right, in that array, right, so we can use repeat function there. So if I do this, 10 would be repeated 5 times, okay, 10 would be repeated 5 times. And if I give like this in the inside the list, right, 10 20 30, so I have 3 observation and I want to repeat 333 times, right? So it will repeat 333 times. So 10 would be repeated 3 times, 20 would be repeated 3 times, and 30 would be repeated 3 times, right? np.full. Okay, so this np.full is something like any observation you want to have in your array, okay. So I wanted to have my I wanted to have a size of 5 array, 5 observation, and all those should be 10 only, okay. So I can use np.full to get that, okay. Now coming to this, okay, so this would generate me an array from 1 to 19, right, 1 to 19, and I want my array to have an odd, which are giving me a remainder of 1, so that those numbers are considered as an odd. So I want to have a array where I have only my odd numbers, okay, from the initial array that got generated, right? So I can write it like this way, where I can pass like my array 1 observation, if it is getting divided by 2, gives me a remainder, only those subsetted observations should be there present in my array. So that also I can do. So in this array you will see like I have a array observation with only my odd numbers, right? Similarly, if you want to generate only even array, right? So wherever there is a remainder of 0, those would be considered as my even array, right? So I would get a even array here: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18, right? Okay. We can also use line space to space our number generation, right? So there is this function also, line space, where we want to create observation from 10 to 20 with a space of 4, okay. So we are creating observation from 10 to 20, and each observation there would be a space of 4, okay. This is for 11, any random number you can take, okay. Okay, so another way to create is random.random that I was talking about yesterday, right? So it would generate me 4 random numbers, right? 4 random number it would be generating me, right? Another way to generate is random.randint, okay. So from 0 to 5, in a space of 5. Okay. Random.randint. Okay. This command will also do the same thing only.
Random value it will take, right?
Yes, it will take the random value only. There is no sequence would be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is something, one more syntax that is very important is random.seed. Okay. So what is the functionality of this random.seed is if you want to have repetition of your any iteration, right? So basically you are running any kind of model, okay, and where you want your output to be constant. Okay, so basically like you are subsetting the data. Okay, for example, you are subsetting your whole data into 30-70%. Okay, and you want to have the same observation going into 30% and same observation going into 70% in each iteration. Okay, so that time we will be writing something as random.seed 1 2 3. This number can be anything. This number can be 0, this can be 42, this can be 50, this can be 100, but each time that should be constant. If you are giving 100, so for each of your iteration of splitting the data into 70-30 should consist 100 only, or should consider whatever number you have given at the beginning. Okay, then only that data with each observation would be available there. So this is something like fixing your observation when you are doing any kind of manipulation. Okay, at that time we would be using random.seed. So I will give you an example of this. So for example, I'm running this code. Okay, just this code I'm running. So I got 10 number like this, right, from 0 to 100. Now again if I run, I will see like my number got changed, right? If I again run, so I will see my number has been changed, right? And the same thing if I after writing, if I write random.seed 1 2 3, okay, so see the difference. I got 66, 92, 98, 17, 83, 96 and 47. Okay, if I run it again, I will be seeing the same number. Okay, it won't change. Okay, any number of time if I run, it would remain same. It won't change. My output won't change. So, okay, so it helps in fixing my output.
We can give any number, right?
You can give any number. So if I write, I can write 42 also. Okay, so now it would change. First time it would change, right? Because my this number got changed. So if I run it now, it would remain same. So let me run this. You will see like it is same, right? You can write any number there. You can write 0 also. Okay. So this will also be the same. And now I am changing to 101. So this would differ. Okay. And if I run this would differ for the first time. It would be remaining same, right? This output and this output. So this is for whole session. Okay, np.random.seed would be for your whole session until you go and kill the kernel. It would be in that session alive. Okay, so you can define this at the top, right? And you can run the complete code. It will generate the same sequence number all the time. Okay. Now coming to uniform. So this would help us in creating a uniform number. So you would have heard about the bell chart, right? The bell curve, where we have like mu and sigma, right? So this random dot uniform help us in creating a uniform numbers. Okay. So if we go and plot this number, it would be in a uniform distribution number. Okay. Floor you will be knowing, like it will be giving me the floor of this number, right? It would be giving me 6, 9, right? The lowest integer, right? Trunc is used for the decimal part. Okay. And as type, if we want to convert it, so this is currently in float, right? And if we want to convert it from one form to other, we use as type, as we have seen in the top, right? So it has converted my complete number into integer, right? So another way to create my array is random.randent. Okay, so this should be generating in a uniform in a normal distribution form. Okay, in a normal distribution form. So where mean would be 0 and the variance would be 1. Okay, variance or standard deviation would be 1. So this is how. And if I go and plot these number, it would be in a normal distribution form. Okay. If we want to also, like if we want to see the index and their value, okay, we can use something called ND enumerate, okay, where we can get their index and their value. So right now we are only seeing their values, right? If I run this code, you will see like their index and their observation, right? Their index and their observation, their index and their observation, like this. Okay, so we can use ND enumerate for our NumPy array if we want to see index and values both. Okay. Coming to the operations, so these are the mathematical operations we can do it on our array. So let me create first my array 2. Okay, so it is creating from 1 to 19. Okay. Sum would be giving me all the sum of these number. Okay, cumulative sum is the running total, where each number would be getting added to the previous one. Okay. For min it is min. For max it is max. Argmin would be giving me the index position of the minimum number. Okay, so at a 0 index I have the minimum number, right? 1 is the least number here and its index is 0, right? So argmin will be giving me the index position. Argmax will be giving me the index position for the highest number. Okay. Mean. So mean would be giving me the average of that, right? Median. Right, median will be this. Variance would be the standard deviation, right? Okay. And percentile would be giving me the percentile, right? I can see 2 percentile also, right? If I want to see like what is the value at my 10th percentile, what is my value at 70th percentile, or what is my value at the 50th percentile, right? So that also I can see it here. Okay, so at 10th percentile, my value would be 2.8. At 70th percentile, my value would be 13.6, right? So it would be like something like this. Okay. Now coming into 2D array, where we have rows and column, right? Not exactly rows and column, but it would look like we have rows and column. Okay. So I have in this 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows and 4 column, 4 into 4, right? 4 into 4 matrix is this, right? So I can see the sum of this also, a dot sum if I do. So it would add all the number and it would return me the sum. If I want to see the maximum out of this, so maximum out of this is 22, right? So it would return me 22, right? If I want to see the minimum from this, so the minimum is 0, right? So it would return me 0. Okay. So axis 0 is for column, right? Yesterday we had discussed about like axis 0 is for column and axis 1 is for rows, right? So if I do a min of a of axis 0, it will return me for that row which are the minimum one, right? So I have 1, I have 2, I have 0 and I have 1, right? Four numbers, right? Similarly we can do it for column, right? So I have 0, I have 5, I have 1 and I have 3. Okay. Mean would be giving me the complete mean of complete number, right? We can also write np dot mean a. A is my matrix. Okay. Similarly, I can write it for median. Similarly with percentile. Similarly with variance. And similarly with standard deviation. Okay. And I can write percentile calculation like this way also, array and then the percentile that we want to look. Okay. So in this also 2D array also we can see like what is the index and what is my observation. Okay. So we can use nd enumerate here also to see the index and their value. Okay. So if you see, we were seeing it something like this here, right? Where it went? Yeah, so this was a series, right? Wherever I would have created array 1. So this was a series. So basically I had only rows, right? So 0 it was 10, for 1 it was 20, for 2 it was 30, for 3 it was 40, for 4 it was 50, for 5 it was 60. But here it is 2D array, right? So at 0 row 0 column I have 1, at 0 row first column I have 2, at 0 row second column I have 3, right? At 0 row third column I have 0, right? 1 2 3 0. So if you come and see, it will be 1 2 3 0, right? 0 row and 0 column, 0 row and first column, 0 row second column, 0 row third column, right? So both index and value we can see with the help of nd enumerate. Okay. Coming to slicing and dicing of data. So basically this is like creating a NumPy array from a list. So and accessing any of the element of the index position, right? So 0 at 0th index we have 7th. Okay, and if you want to see from the first till the end, there is no upper boundary, right? So from first index it would print me all the observation, right? So from 5 you can get 3902, right? If you want to have in between range, we cannot do that as well, right? From the first index it will take till fourth index, right? 1 2 3 4. So it will return me that, right? So first index is this, second index is this, third index is this, right? 5 3 and 9. -1 would return me the last element, right? So from this side it is starting at 0 1 2 3, and from this side we have like -1 -2 -3 -4 -5 -6, something like this, right? In the first class that we discussed, right? The index from the back side will always start with -1, right? So this would return me the last element. This would return me at the third index, -3rd index. This would return me at -6 index. This would return me in between -1 till -3, right? That index. now coming to the replacement of any observation in our array. Okay, so let me create it with range only. So 1 to 19 it got created, and now I am going to replace my observation wherever my observation is event. Okay, so at that place I am going to replace my observation with 0. Okay, so I can use where for that to do that replacement. Okay, so at, you can see like at second place it was even, right? So I have replaced it with 0. At fourth place it was 0, right? 6 observation it was 0. At 8th it will be 0, right? At every even observation I have replaced my number with 0, right? I can do it that with any kind of value. Okay, so this is another example where any number that is divisible by 10, okay, or any number that is equal to 10, I am replacing it with 99. Okay, any number wherever it was 10, I have replaced it with 99. Okay, so at this place it was 99, at this place it will be 99, and at this place it will be 99. Okay, so I'm creating this. So this is just the creation. Okay, so basically what put is doing here is like replacing at an index position the value. So what I have done it here is something like I have passed my array and then I have called my index. So index at 0, index at 3, and index at 5. Okay, index at 0, index at 3, 1, 2, 3, 30th, and index at 5th. Okay, 4th, 5th. Okay, 50. So these three number now would get replaced by 33, 55, and 99. Okay, so the first is 0, 33 got replaced with 0 got replaced with 33, then my 30 got replaced with 35, and then my 50 got replaced by 99. Okay, so at an index, at a particular index, we have replaced our observations. Okay, now if we want to count or replace our missing observation, right? So for example, there might be missing observation in our data sets, right? So how we can replace those, or how we can search where all my missing observations are there, right? So I can use isNA for that. Okay, isNA, and then calling my array. So I will get at which position I am having the missing observations. Okay, and then I can do the replacement of that. So at my first position, I don't have my missing observation, so I have 10 there, right? Then np.nan. So in Python, missing observation are denoted by nan. Okay, so directly we cannot write here nan because that would be considered as an string. So we have to write it as np.nan here because we are manually creating it, right? So that's the reason. So at that position we got nan, right? And then we are checking it whether at that all those index I am having my missing observation or not. Okay, so is nan is the function to find missing observation in our data sets. Okay, we can also use where to get the index position. Okay, so I am having my nan at first index and at the 5th index. Okay, and after that I can do the replacement. So I'm doing those replacement of those missing value by 99. So you can see like wherever there was nan, I have replaced it with 99. Okay, is nan dot any will tell me like in the complete array whether I have any kind of null value or not. Okay, so this will tell me whether in the complete data set there is any null value or not. Okay. Similar kind of thing we can also do it in two-dimensional. Okay, so now I'm creating a two-dimensional where I will have rows and column matrix. Okay, so I'm having here missing value, I'm having here missing value, I'm here having missing value here. So I can search at which position I will have a missing value. So here it will be false, here it will be false, because I don't have any kind of missing value, right? But here if I see I have a missing value, and that would denote as true. And if I want to see the index position, I can use where, right? So at 0, 1, 2, I have missing value in the zero, 1, 2. Okay, yeah. So at this position I have my missing value. Okay, from the row side. From the column side I have missing value at the second index, right? So this is the missing value for the column side. Okay, now we can also do a stacking, right? Yesterday that we were talking about the append. So we can do vertical stacking, we can do horizontal stacking, right? Where two array we can combine it. Okay, so I'm creating here A and B array. Okay, so this is my A array. Okay, and this is my B array. Okay, now I want to stack both the array, so I am stacking vertically here. Okay, so one after the another. Okay, so I will have first zeros and then I will have all ones. Okay, so this is also like something like list. I'm creating three. Yesterday we were talking about nested list, right? So three observations would be there. Okay, 1, 2, 3 in my first A1 array, 1, 2, 3 in my 4, 5, 6 in my B1 array, and then if I go and stack it, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this way. Okay. Now stacking horizontally. Okay, horizontally what it will do, kind of join, right? One after the other. Okay, so after this it got joined it here. Okay, after this it got joined it here. Okay, in the second case also it will be like this. 1, 2, 3 came in this, and then again the second array got 4, 5, 6. Okay, now finding the common element between the two array. So we have intersect 1D. Okay, intersect 1D and set diff 1D. So what are the common element and what are the different element? Okay, to find between the two array. Okay, so C1 is one array, C2 is another array. Okay, and I want to see which are my common element in these two array are there. Okay, so I have common element as 20, 40 and 60. So in first array it was 20, second array also it is 20, in first array it is 40, in second array also it is 40, in third array it is 60, and in first array it is 60, and in second array is also 60, right? Now if I want to see the difference between the two array, that also I can see by set diff 1. So set diff 1 will tell me the difference between the array, and intersect 1D will tell me which are the common element between the two arrays are there. Okay, now coming to the condition, like if any kind of observation is less than a number that we have defined, or it is greater than any number, or if you want to see the even or odd, or if it is equal or not, those kind of operation also we can do it with the help of numpy. Okay, so what I'm checking it here is like I've created two array, np.array and the list name, np.array and the list name AB, and then I'm checking where A equal to B. Okay, whether that condition is getting satisfied or not. So array 1 4. Okay, so you can see here at which position that is getting satisfied. So at this position it is getting satisfied, at fourth position it is getting satisfied. Okay, so it has returned that indices for me. And then it will return an array where the condition is satisfied. Okay, the observation. So my 2 is getting equal in both the array, and then my 8th is getting equal in both the array. Okay, the second condition is whether I have a number that is greater than 20, okay, in array A1. So basically I am creating this array A1, okay, and then in array A1 I am checking my first condition should be A1 greater than 20 and A1 should be less than 35. Okay, so between these two only range I should get the output. Okay, so you will see all the observation between this greater than 20, that is 21, and less than 35, that is 34, would consist here. Okay, so between that condition I am generating my array. Okay, I can give any other condition also. So there here we are doing two conditions. So basically first condition that will be met is between these range, or I am seeing whether that number divided by 10 is equal to 0 or not. Okay, within that two condition I will get a observation. So or condition is there, so any one condition if we are satisfying, that observation would be coming up here, right? Logical AND is basically AND only. So this AND is only is logical AND. So both the condition is satisfied, then only we will get the output. So this would be something like the same output within this range only. Okay, from 21 to 34. Okay, so there is something also as is in, whether that observation is present in our array or not. So we can check that sort of activity also. So basically in this array we have observation 10, 20, 30, 40, 60 and 70. Okay, now I am checking whether 11 and 20 are present in my array or not. Okay, so I can see like this is not 11, this is 20, so I have checked 20, so 20 is there. Now my none of the number are 11 or 20, right? So all would be false. Okay, now now np dot is na, and then if we are passing the array name, then wherever it will be 20, it would be returning me that. Okay, it would be returning me that whether that 20 is present or not. Okay, now if we see 33, so it will return me all my observation in an array does not contain 33. So everywhere it is giving me false only. So I will get an empty array because that 33 was not present in my complete array, right? So it has returned me a blank array. Similarly, this is the example, different example, the same thing. Okay, now we can also do a reverse array. Okay, so reverse array is something like if we want to reverse the array. Okay, so basically I created an array from 1 to 5 and now I want to reverse that array. Okay, so we can use something as double colon, and then using the -1 symbol to reverse the array. Okay, so basically I'm creating an array from 10 to 30. Okay, and printing it from 10 to 29 would be generated. Now I want to reverse this array. So what I can do is put double colon and then -1. So what it will do, it will reverse the array from 29 till 10. So if I run this, you will see like from 29, it will reverse is till 10. Okay. Similarly, we can use flip also. If you use flip, it will do the same activity from 29 till 10. It would doing a reverse. So this was for single dimensional. We can also do the same activity with with two dimensional array as well. Okay. So I'm creating it with 4 row and 4 column, where I have 3, 2, 8, 1 till 12, 9, 77 and 4. So in this, if I want to reverse it into row, so basically what I have to do, give 2 colon and then -1 and then comma. So it will reverse it in the row wise. Okay, so 12 will go at the top and 3 would come at bottom. Okay, so 12 has came at top and 3 have gone at bottom. Okay, and if I want at column wise, so I have to give first a single colon because all the rows I need it, and then comma, double colon and then -1. Okay, so what it will do, it will reverse it from the column wise. So 1 will come at the beginning and 3 will go at the last, and 8 will come at the second and 2 will be coming at the third row. Okay, so 1 has came at the beginning, 3 has gone at this place. Okay, and if you want to reverse from for both column and row wise, then double colon -1 comma double colon -1. So it would reverse in both the way. Okay, so you can see it has reversed in both the way. Okay, for sorting an array, we have something called as sort command. Okay, where we can sort the array. Yeah. So by default, it will sort in ascending order only. Okay. Similarly with the 2D array also, if you want to sort it, it can sort the array. Okay. Now if you want to sort the array only at an axis 1, that is at row level, so that also we can do by passing an axis equal to 1 and axis equal to 0 for column. Okay. Now if you want to sort in descending order, we have to do something as double colon -1. Okay. Then you to sort it in descending order. Okay. So this was related with the sort. So these are all different type of the way we create it, and the manipulation, almost what all we do in our day-to-day activity. So like how we create 0, how we create ones, or how we create for random number, how we generate all uniform distribution. Okay, so these are the most important. There are lot more topic to be covered in NumPy, but these are like most important one that we will be covering till now. Okay, and whenever required for any further topic in NumPy, we can come back and look for other topic also. So any doubt in this till now?
I think this require a lot of practice on this.